the immortal John Hancock, and today I'd like to talk about things that you should know about the retro gaming community in general. It is something that I just embrace. I've met most of my close friends in the retro gaming community. I got involved with the Portland Retro Gaming Expo a long time ago, moving up to Washington, I think around 2005. And so I have so many great positive memories about the community. I just thought I'd share maybe some tips, some advice. Maybe you're new, maybe you've been around the community a long time. These are all things I think that people in general should consider following. Again, you may not agree with all of these, but I get asked a lot of these questions all the time and thought I'd do a video about it. So one thing to know about the retro gaming community is that it's constantly changing. My personal definition of retro gaming is any computer, console, portable, or even arcade machine that is more than 10 years old. And so that means a lot, you know, as time moves on, more and more of these consoles that come out, or computers even, or portables, are more than 10 years old. So I would consider that retro gaming if you're playing games on them. And that, you know, with that constant change, that means there's lots of people that are getting into an older system for the first time, and it's fun. It's a lot of fun. For me, it's been my number one primary hobby for the last 25 years. It's extremely diverse. There, you know, just like this wall that is behind me, there's a diverse amount of video games for quite a bit of consoles, computers, portables, etc. And so it's important to know that you need to kind of sift through kind of what you want to pursue, because there's a lot out there. I remember the old days, you know, when I go on a forum, it'd be, you know, the like good old Atari age. It was, you know, just a couple classic consoles that are talked about. Well, now it's so diverse. You know, they have all these sub forums of, you know, computers and Sega Genesis, everything you can think of, you can pursue. Nintendo age, Atari age, there's forums, there's Facebook groups, there's so many different places to go. You just kind of need to pursue something that you want. And with that being said, and this is happening more and more, is don't get caught up in the drama and judgment that happens. Sometimes people get really riled up because they're passionate. They're passionate about retro gaming. They're passionate about how they think people should game, what they should game on, how that looks. It doesn't matter. Like, game how you want to game, okay? Don't listen to other people saying you need to do it this way or it's not right. And there's a lot of people that get passionate about, well, I think the Atari Jaguar is the best console ever. And it can be really kind of a big turnoff for people new to the hobby. And so just know that longtime people and collectors and gamers are passionate about the consoles that they've invested their time and money into, and that sometimes they can say things that are just really over the top. And I just say, don't get wrapped up into that, you know, and that, you know, be someone who can just be kind of balanced and appreciate something, but not, you know, not go over the top and judge someone else, or it can get out of hand pretty fast. So all right, so let's talk about the big elephant in the room. As time has gone on, retro gaming has turned into big business. And the truth of the matter is that, you know, we even have companies like Nintendo that are making retro consoles now and are very, very popular. There is a business side of retro gaming, and there's nothing wrong with that. I have a lot of friends that are business owners. I have people that's their livelihood. There's nothing wrong with that. But there's a balance of enjoying gaming, retro gaming for the gaming, and then there's the business side of it. And whenever that gets out of whack, the retro gaming community in itself is hurt. And so I always try to remember that as much as there is a business side of it, and for me, the retro gaming is a hobby. And so the reason why it's not my primary business is because I don't think I would appreciate video games if it was. I come in this room, I had this room created in my house so I could sit down and appreciate video games. I love video games. I love them. I'm passionate about it. I love preserving video games. You know, hopefully I can be a small piece of the ongoing preservation that is done around the world. And that's something that's important to know. You know, get into it for the right reasons. And it's important to know that, again, what I said earlier about the judgment of how to play. It doesn't matter if you're just emulating and didn't spend a single dime on anything, have a Raspberry Pi, just game on that, or you know, you got your old school Atari 2600 still hooked up to your childhood CRT that you grew up with, and you're playing with RF, you know, maybe even on a black and white TV. And there's no wrong way to game. You know, if you're enjoying it, great. Don't listen to other people, you know, saying how you should game. You know, there's no wrong way to enter this lovely community and appreciate all the wonderful things it has to offer. I think the other big thing too is as the money aspect kind of rears its head, and there's nothing wrong with that, but there's people that are coming and going all the time. Stay a while. Give something a chance. You know, if you don't like one thing, maybe try another. And so a lot of times people, they jump in and they don't really listen to people, and they buy a bunch of stuff, they get totally in debt and burn out and leave. And so other people, you know, they kind of come and go. You know, it's kind of a cycle with them where they buy stuff, sell it, buy stuff, sell it. And there's, you know, again, give retro gaming a chance. If something didn't work out for you, try something else. There's many times where I tried really hard. Good examples in television. I tried for the longest time to really embrace that console, and it's so funny how it just took a good friend of mine, John Rose, and he just over time really kind of educated me about some of the games, and he kind of knew my play styles. And over time, I finally gave the console a chance, and now I love it. But it took a while. It kind of took someone else to kind of show me what was great about that console for me to really embrace it. So sometimes that's how it is with the hobby, is that you have to give it a chance. And what may not, maybe you're part of a Facebook group and that's not working out for you. Well, maybe try another one, and maybe you'll get a different experience. All right. The retro gaming community is smaller than you think. And I bring this up because there's been people in the past that haven't been so honest, and word travels fast. And so if there's a bad transaction or a series of bad transactions, it goes around pretty fast, and you will be blacklisted. And so it's important to know that the retro gaming community is protective of one another. Everybody is here just to share the fellowship of loving older video games. There's some wonderful people no matter what you like, but people talk when something goes south, especially a bad transaction, a bad deal. That's not good. And so the best way to do is to own up if something goes wrong, to own up to it, and to be honest about it, because the truth will eventually come out. Where to start? Well, I get this all the time. I have no idea where to start. An easy answer to that is, I would say start with what you remember growing up and playing is the easy answer. You know, that's what I did when I started retro gaming. I just kind of picked up and started pursuing some Nintendo stuff, some Atari stuff when I started collecting a long time ago, because that's what I knew. I didn't know half of this stuff even existed until I got connected to some other groups and forums, and definitely it just took some time for me to really kind of figure out my own path and things I wanted to pursue. And like many things, over time it changed, it evolved. You know, what I wanted to pursue changed and evolved. And so start with something that you know about and go from there, because I think you're going to find more enjoyment with that as well. And I think that the last thing, and I've talked about this before, I've talked about it at panels I've done, and it's the importance of having balance of your life, whether it's your gaming time, balance with your priorities, your job, your partner, spending time with your partner, your kids, your work-life balance, family. I love this game room, but I don't live here. Okay, I have a family. I have 2 kids, a loving wife, and I try to give them as much time as possible as well. And without that balance, it can really mess things up. And so it is the one-way ticket to burnout if you can't do that. And yeah, I think it's important to know. Also, it's important to know that there's a lot of many places to go to join a group, and I think that's the important thing of staying for a while. Is that I would pursue joining a group, whether that's a Facebook group, whether that's something else, something, you know, a local group. I've done all of the above. So I worked with Rick Weiss a long time ago when when Portland Retro Gaming Expo was Northwest Classic Games Enthusiast. You know, I was just a young person on the block and helping out any way I could, and that was great. Kind of got to meet some great collectors and learned a lot of things about collecting in general. And Rick Weiss was so nice to introduce me to everybody. And you know, as time went on, I brought people into the mix, and you know, eventually I wanted to pursue other things, and you know, kind of broke off and started Cowlitz Gamers for Kids, and even more so, I wanted to get back to the roots of gaming, and so formed Cowlitz Gamers Club, and you know, it just kind of evolved from there. And so my happiest, fondest memories are those having fellowship with other gamers, with Rick Weiss, with Jonathan Rose, Corey Strite, Cowlitz Gamers Club. I mean, these small gatherings of people talking about video games. I mean, it just fills my heart with joy just thinking about the great experiences I've had. And you know, it's easy to do. You don't have to have a massive collection. It just takes two people that want a retro game come together on a Raspberry Pi, on an emulator, on an old CRT, heck, even playing on an Ouya together. I mean, I can't say. I mean, there's just so many different ways of connecting with people, and that's really what it comes down to. You know, video games to me, it breaks down the barriers, whatever your political beliefs are, your religious beliefs. You know, if someone wants to be a two-player, it doesn't really matter what they think. You know, just pick up that controller and let's do some gaming together and have a good time and respecting each other and just going from there. I hopefully it's kind of a long ramble, but I just wanted to talk about just things that you need to know about the retro gaming community. Is there anything that anybody who's watching this would like to add? Comment below. I'd love to hear from people that took time out of their day to watch this video. I'm getting ready for Portland Retro Gaming Expo. I'm super excited. I have a great homebrew to debut at the show. And I'm going to be doing 3 panels. And if you're able to come, great. If not, there's always next year. I'm in the Northwest and I go to many other shows. Thank you so much to people around the world for taking time out of the day. My hat's off. All the wonderful comments that people have left, I try to read as many as possible. It just fills my heart. You know, this is why I continue to do this hobby, is the people I've met, the people I've talked to. You know, I just appreciate it all. Thank you so much. This is the Immortal John Hancock. Take care.